Like tomorrow doesn't exist. Okay. Not me not being fully prepared, child. Hello, hello, hello. We're here to talk about Drag Race. I hope everyone's having a great day. Thanks. Okay, there we go. Hold on. I gotta find the right screenshot. Let's see. I'm looking for it. Hold on. We're getting closer. There we go. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if I can... Justin, are you here? I see your picture, but I don't know if that's you. Hello, Justin. Okay. Hi, Justin. Justin, can you do me a favor and share this in the group, if you would? You don't have to, but if you would. Hi, I'm the problem. My name is Justin, and I'm the problem. Well, yes. Well, yes. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. Listen. Because, oh my God, I can actually see myself. This is crazy. I'm finna add it to my story. All right. Boom. Boom shakalaka. I just shared my own live. This is crazy. Watching myself. Anyway, so now, Justin, I know you have not seen this. Hello, Meandra. Hello, my darling. Now, Justin, I know you haven't seen this episode of Drag Race, and so if you don't want spoilers, then you may need to go ahead, because this episode wasn't gag worthy. Let me say that this episode was in no shape, form, nor fashion like gag worthy as a whole. Okay, you know what happens? Good. Okay, so when I say that this episode was not gag worthy, what I mean is that there's about 3/4 of the episode that I was literally on my phone. And I don't mean on my phone in the way of like, oh, I was just checking messages or being cute. I am saying that there was about 3/4 of the episode where I literally was just not engaged. Of course, it's losing its flavor. It's been 10 years. It's been way longer than... Hey, and hello, by the way, friend. This is season 17. And they're literally just going on vibes at this point. It is literally just them saying, this is a challenge that everyone loves, and so we're going to put it here, and this is what you're going to do, and then we're going to go. It's like these modern seasons of Drag Race are giving very... we know what works, and so we're just going to do that. And this whole season has been that. So... this is the not penultimate episode of the season, but this was the episode where we decide our top 4 of the season. So it's the semifinals essentially. Like this was the semifinals. Where do I even... okay. So the challenge this week, right, was already interesting enough in and of itself, because there were so many different things that they had to do that they kind of didn't get a chance to show us everything. And so you could tell that they were trying to pick the stuff that they felt like was the most interesting, or they were trying to pick the stuff that they felt like was the most relevant. So if you're new and to Drag Race and you've never watched it before, then what they do is they have the top 4 challenge or top 3. It kind of depends on the season. And that's another thing. I know Q is mad. Q is probably hot. But the tops of the season, they have to typically do like a music video challenge or a performance of some sort or something like that. Typically what we've gotten was them writing well, I'll say ever since season 9 we had them writing lyrics to a song, a RuPaul song. Then they would have to perform it, right? And so before that, what they would do is they would film a music video for one of his songs, and that would be their challenge. Well, they've kind of started playing around with that in the past couple of seasons. Like some seasons they don't do it at all. Some seasons they do like an altered version of it. This season was interesting because they have something called RuPaul's Drag Race Live, right? Which is basically just like, it's a Vegas show where a bunch of the queens perform. Very fun from what I've heard. So this was basically them promoting RuPaul's Drag Race Live. To me, I am going to say that for me, this was them basically promoting it. So the main challenge was that they had to do like a Drag Race Live performance, right? And so when I heard that, I was thinking, okay, we're going to have a performance. Because typically when you get to the top 4 or 3 or whatever they are, they do this thing where they sit down with RuPaul and Michelle interview them and ask them questions, things like that, you know, really get to know them, ask them about their time in this competition. Well, we didn't do that this season. That's not what we did this season, okay? This season, we decided that Latrice Royale, for whatever reason, was going to be the one that was going to interview them. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Galen, what do you have against Latrice Royale? What's your problem with Latrice Royale? Well, I don't have an issue with Latrice Royale. What I have an issue with is the fact that she came back to do this like interview thing with them. Hello, Leia. That's what I have the problem with, because I didn't understand what the point of having her come back for it was. It felt like Ru and them just didn't have time or something. That's kind of what it felt like. Was they were like, okay, Michelle is off film in Australia. She's off doing Down Under. I got a lot going on myself, and I just don't feel like doing it. And so we're just going to get Latrice in here. That's what it felt like. It felt like an afterthought more than anything else. So Latrice is interviewing them, right? But they also apparently, okay, let me back up. So they have to do a photo shoot, right? They have to do a photo shoot and get a good picture to use as their promo for Drag Race Live. Okay. They have to do their interview. Okay. Well, apparently at some point they found time to also squeeze in a promo video that they have to do and show it to us. And I was like, okay. When did y'all do this? But that's because we didn't get a chance to see it live. We didn't get a chance to see them go through the, filming them, anything like that. Or maybe we did and I was just asleep. I couldn't tell you. But I don't think they did. So the last part, quote unquote, is the performance. So they have to do a performance to a song by RuPaul, which is fine because we do that all the time. But it wasn't by RuPaul. It was just a song. It wasn't even a RuPaul song. It was just a song, right? That's number one. Number two, it was one of the most boring songs they've ever had on the show. Most boring song they have ever had on this show. And then we didn't even get a chance. Usually when they do a performance, we see them prepping for the performance, right? So we see them doing their, like their rehearsals. We see them getting ready, doing vocals, whatever. Girl, no. This season, they let them folks dance for about 3 minutes and then said, see you later. And that was the performance. and then had the audacity to try to critique them on that. But we'll get back to that. So they also had to do the runway, which is, of course, you know, the staple. That's what we come there for, essentially. And it usually with the finale, it's like a finale extravaganza or grand finale, whatever. It's something like that, right? It'll have like a cute name. But this time it was just like cover up, dover up. I don't even remember what it was. It was some weird off the wall category where please don't get me started. Please do not get me started. Because I said, y'all just made that up. Y'all said, we're not going to give y'all what we usually give you. We're going to give you something a little different. No, ma'am. Take it back. Take it now. Take it away. Don't give it back. Okay? Let it stay. Let it stay wherever you put it, because I didn't want it. I didn't want it. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Susie Toot, because Susie Toot is really going to be, I think, the focal point of this story. This is the interesting part. So if you haven't been watching this season, Susie has been for quite some time the front runner, right? Susie has been the person who I would say a lot of people had their money on. I wanted to think about how I wanted to phrase it. Susie has been the person who a lot of people have probably been betting on to win the season, or at least be top 2, because she's done very well in the challenges, right? Now, here's the issue. Here's the problem. Susie knows that she's doing well in the challenges, and Susie's head has gotten so pumped up to the point where, like, this particular episode was literally just, it was the zenith of it. She said that she has no kryptonite. She is a superwoman. She says she has no kryptonite. Now, for context, she has been a person this season who, even when she has absolutely not done well in a challenge, has still with her entire chest said that she thought she was going to win the challenge. Like, even when there were people who clearly had done better than her, and she clearly had done an okay job, okay to mediocre, she still would say that she thought she was going to win the challenge, and she could not understand why she didn't. That's the kind of person we're dealing with here with this. And it kind of got annoying at a certain point. Like, at one point, it was a little fun, right? It was like, girl, okay, yeah, you think you're going to win. But as it went on, I started realizing, I think she's doing this on purpose. I went from thinking that she genuinely was just believing in herself to actually thinking, I'm going to do what I need to do to have a storyline this season. Because she had literally, but then here's the other part of it, right? Again, she had been doing really well in the competition. But you kind of get the other contestants, especially Lexi. Lexi is another contestant who, sweet merciful God, today made Susie her entire storyline, and everyone would kind of like boost Susie up and talk about how amazing she was, and oh my God, Susie's gonna kill this challenge, Susie is X, Y, and Z. And so what you kind of got was, and even when they would call her out on things, she would still take it as, but you admit I'm competition. She would never hear the second part to it, which is that, girl, you sound crazy. She would just be like, oh, so you think I'm competition? So we watched this whole season, right? And pretty much I would say Susie was in almost everyone's top 4. Maybe not everybody, because I do think that there are some people who saw through it. And I do think there are some people who kind of had that take that, like, Susie is going to burn herself out, right? Like, I fully believe that. But I think that as a whole, we pretty much thought, I'm not gonna say agreed, I'm gonna say thought that Susie would be top 4. So Susie was doing, to me, kind of like a good watered down version of Jinx Monsoon's storyline from season 5. So Jinx had like the underdog edit, even though Jinx low-key kind of wasn't an underdog, but she kind of was at the same time. I'll have to explain that separately. But like, Jinx was the one who was getting bullied by the cast, right? So she was the one that people were like coming up against her and just being like, no, we don't like you and we're better than you and blah, 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 blah. And da-da-da-da. Yeah, she's doing okay. But she was always doing really well in the challenges. But by the end, you wanted her to win because she was getting like so much pushback from some of the other contestants, especially once we got to the top. So I think Susie saw that and decided that she was going to try to do that same storyline again, but it did not work in her favor, okay? Because Susie's aesthetic is one of like old glamour, old Hollywood, things like that, right? And so I think that she thought that because she has such a niche thing, that everyone was gonna kind of be like, oh yeah, I love her and she's so different and she's so unique and she does her own thing, right? She's clearly very talented. That worked against her this episode because we're doing a Las Vegas review type challenge. Baby, nobody wants to see you up there in your sailor suit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's not appropriate. It doesn't work well. And you don't take pictures well. Because they're looking for sexy sort of like... They're looking for very seductress, right? They're looking for the glitz and they're looking for like the big costumes and the feathers and the rhinestones. But then you got Susie coming out in a bathing suit. A sailor's bathing suit. Mama. And like, it was just, it worked completely against her. Her commercial was horrible. She was trying to do... Like I said, yuck, like she was trying to do that. And that was not what we were living for. That is not what we needed. That's not what we wanted. And it wasn't appropriate for anything. So y'all, let's get to the gaggy part, right? I really don't know why I went live about this. I feel like I could have made just a video. I could have made a cute little 10-minute video. I feel like I didn't. I feel like this is boring. I feel like this is not interesting. Okay. I'm just gonna probably wrap it up because I'm not, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. I just know that was hilarious, girl. It was crazy to watch. It was crazy because you could get the feeling, Vegas showgirl, exactly, Justin. You could get the feeling that she was so out of her element, and you got the feeling that she truly did not know what she was doing, right? Because she said she's never been to Vegas, she's never seen like a Vegas show, and she's basing what she's doing literally on like 1920s pinup girls that are doing some show for like the U.S. Army or something. And they're taking off like a sock to be seductive. I'm telling you, that was what she was given. And that's not what the challenge was asking for. So here was where I was like, so we get to the end, right? And I'm literally just telling you about the good parts of this show because the episode itself was kind of boring, but I'm telling you, that's why I'm telling you about this. And then we'll kind of backtrack to everything else. So Jules wins the challenge. I think rightfully so, because I think she had the best aesthetic. I think that she gave the best like energy to the challenge. I think she was the one who truly embodied like what they were looking for the most. I would say probably her or Anya. I definitely think her or Anya, in completely different ways, gave exactly what it needed to give, right? Okay. So Jules wins the challenge. She has a guaranteed spot in the top 4 right now. And so Lexi and then Anya are also safe, which means they have a guaranteed spot in the top 4. Okay. So you may be asking yourself, well, what does that mean? So our bottom 2 are Sam Starr, who's kind of like, a lot of people said they saw it for her since the beginning of the season. I didn't. I'm just being honest. I kind of thought Sam was going to be one of those people that would get eliminated. Maybe not midway through, but at least top 5 or 6. I did not think Sam would make top 4. I just didn't. And so I thought that she was going to be one of those people, maybe a good top 7, top 6, top 5, somewhere between 5 and 7. And then, you know, it would be like, oh, I was so close to the crown. But, you know, I was proven wrong. But anyway, getting ahead of myself. So Sam, who is I'm going to say newly emerged front runner. That's what how I'm going to choose to phrase it. Newly emerged front runner. She is put in the bottom 2, which I kind of understand. I mean, I get it. But then Susie, for the first time this season, is put in the bottom two. So Susie has not at all had to lip sync this season, right? She's only, except for her legacy, like she only had to lip sync for the win in like the first episode. So that's the only time that she's had to actually show any kind of lip syncing skills. Okay, girl. So then they say, Susie, sorry, my dear, you're up for elimination. Okay. So I'm thinking, they just did a double save last week. They just did both of y'all can stay last week. They just did that. But I think that was to save Anya, because they were like, we're not going to let our girl go home. But anyway, I digress. And so we got Susie in the bottom, right? And I'm like, what's about to happen? I was actually, this is where I sat up. Girl, I literally put the phone down. Excuse me. I put the phone down and sat up because I was like, what is about to occur in front of me? So the lip sync song is Love Child by Diana Ross. Now, one thing you need to know about Drag Race is that Rudence Paul, okay? Rudence Halliwell Paul loves himself some Diana Ross. He loves that mud pie lady. He loves that lady, okay? He loves him some Diana Ross. He even had her daughter there, Tracy Ellis Ross. We just love Tracy Ellis Ross. But she was our guest judge this episode. Baby, this man is obsessed with this woman, right? And so Rudence has these two women lip syncing to Love Child. I don't know if you've ever heard Love Child, but it's kind of like this pop. It's like, it's from the like 70s, but it's got like this pop sort of sound to it, but also kind of like its own sound. It's a really good song, but basically it's about a person who is a love child, as you would imagine, and basically them, you know, talking about how like, oh, I was so ashamed of it, whatever else, and how I didn't have a name, and my daddy wouldn't, whatever, right? My parents weren't married. It's very that. But anyway, so I'm telling you that to say that you kind of have to have like a certain vibe to you to be able to perform that song. And when I say certain vibe, what I mean is you have to have kind of like this old school kind of like mentality and mindset, but very specific to like the Motown era, to where you put on a show with the costumes and the hair, right? Okay, so let me set the scene for you. You have Sam Starr here with this teased up wig, right? With this beautiful teased up wig. And like this beautiful orange gown that has like a cape thing to it. And it's just very dramatic. It's very Diana Ross. It's very Diana Ross, right? And it's very, I'm a diva here to put on a show. Juxtaposed to that, you have Susie Toot dressed up like a clown version of the lady from Death Becomes Her that gave Madeline Ashton the potion. Okay? So if you have that image in your head of the lady who gave Madeline Ashton the potion in Death Becomes Her, and you remember that cape thing that she had on, right? You remember kind of like that cover-up that she had on. Okay, take that and then cartoonize it. Literally make it look like she's about to slip on a banana peel. Okay, and then add like a little hat with the feather thing. It was very 20s. I will say that if it was like 1924, I'll even give her 1925. It would have been very fashionable. It was giving very, hello Brittany. It was giving very, and then there's Maud, like when she was young. It was giving Maud when she was young. And I don't mean B. Arthur. I said Arthur. It was giving very that. It was giving very, yeah, Popeye the Sailor Man. Yes. It was giving very Popeye the Sailor Man. It was like, why don't you boys come down and ring me sometime? Oh, and we can have some fun. Like, it was very zany. It was a mess. And so they get to lip syncing. And I'm just thinking, Sam has the perfect look. Sam understands what like old school drag is, and Susie does not. And I was like, there's no way that they're finna eliminate Susie. That was what I told myself. That was why I sat up, because I was like, there's no way. And I know y'all are probably thinking, Galen, why are you going in depth explaining all these things to us? I need y'all to understand why the moment was gag worthy. I need y'all to understand why leading up to this moment was such a gag. That's why I'm trying to give you as many details as I can. I'm probably going too far into giving you details. But, and I know I need to stop saying this out loud, but I just feel like this is so boring. I just feel like I'm not interested. Oh God, okay. I'm just being honest with y'all, because y'all know I don't go live over here very often. And so this is new. This is new. Okay, Galen, stop saying you don't believe in it and just do it. Just have fun. Anyway, okay, all right. So thank y'all for listening to me so far. So we get into the lip sync, right? We get into the lip sync. And Sam is starting off very cool. Sam is doing what I think makes a lot of sense to do. Sam is giving us very old school. Sam is giving us very like, I'm finna tear this up, but first I gotta set the stage. First I gotta prime y'all to get ready, okay? Sam is giving us very that. Susie is giving us very help. You know, she's kind of giving us flapper who flaps too much. She's giving us very much knock-kneed. She is giving us let's do the mashed potato. She's not giving us what the song needs, okay? In no way, shape, form, or fashion. You know how usually you can be like, at least they're trying. No, Susie was not giving us what the song needed in any shape, form, or fashion. Okay? So you can imagine that my little heart is just pounding out of my chest, because I'm thinking like, even though I'm not super attached to Susie in that way, I was like, wait a minute, because Susie didn't do well this episode, and Susie's not doing good in this lip sync. What are we gonna do? They get done lip syncing. Rudence Halliwell Paul Charles says, Sam Starr, Shantae, you stay. Congratulations, you have earned a spot in the top 4. Well, I get to counting, because I said, okay, wait a minute. Jules is already there. Anya got her spot. Lexi has her spot. And that's 3. And now Sam has a spot. So that's 4. So now you're telling me that we have the 4 for the top 4. So, and he didn't say, we forget, because he has in the past been like, forget it, we have a top 5, right? Like, he's done that before. He said, you know what, we'll have a top 5, I say. And it's been like, oh, so dramatic, Well, no, he said, you've earned a spot in the top 4. And I said, wait a minute, we just counted 4. So he looks at Susie and says, Susie too, you, whatever he said, because Rue always gives them some kind of like fake belief in themselves, like, oh no, you're so great and you're gonna go off and you're gonna do great things and I believe in you. Ruby lied, but Rue gave her that little thing and was like, now sashay away. And just like that, our front runner of the competition, one of our front runners, because Anya's the front runner, but one of our front runners of the competition is gone. It feels like, listen. Anya, to me, I'm going to use the phrase clear winner. I am going to say that Anya is the clear winner. But they have played in our faces before. They have absolutely, they did it just last season because we thought Saphira was going to win. And then, anyway, I'm not even gonna get into that because then people gonna say, well, you're invalidating Nymphia. I don't mean to invalidate Nymphia. And I apologize that it probably is going to come out like that. I am not saying that she didn't deserve to win. I am saying that Saphira was our front runner of the competition that should have won. I am not saying that Nymphia shouldn't. I am just saying that it was surprising that Saphira didn't. So that's what scares me just a bit, is that we're going to get to the finale and Anya is not going to get what she deserves. So out of the four, who could I see winning? Anya, again, clear front runner. The fact that Sam is there though is I don't know. It's giving us something. It's giving us something. Jules, I think, is another one who has like a really big contender for the crown. I think that Jules probably could take it on home. Lexi, I think it's good that Lexi is there because I think she earned her top 4 spot. I do. I think that Lexi earned the top 4 position. And I think that she should be happy that she has that and should just be content. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I think that our baby girl should just be content with being in the top 4. Let that be that. Honestly, as much as I think that Sam has potential to win, I don't think Sam is winning. I think Sam is probably... you know what? I don't know. Because they always shock us. Sam and Lexi, though, I do not think are contenders for the crown. I think that they are really strong competitors, and that's why they made top 4. Truly, I think that. But I think that when it comes down to the top 2 of the season, it's definitely going to be Anya and Jules. But who knows? Hey, I thought Susie was going to be there in the top 4. So anything could happen at this point. Like, literally, I mean, I might just be sitting here spewing stuff. Who knows? Girl, it was a mess. It was like, literally, this was one of the most gag-worthy moments of the season. Because I was like, huh? You know when you can see something coming, but you're just like, no, they're not going to do that. Because Drag Race is bad about that. Drag Race is really bad about letting people through. I would give you an example, but I feel like that would be unnecessary and messy. And that person already has me blocked. And so there's no point. And people love her now for some reason. And I don't... I'm a hush. I'm gonna be quiet. I think Justin knows who. I think Justin... Yes, I do have a Drag Race queen that has me blocked. I feel very strangely about that. Because but also their season aired like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, no. Yeah. No. 6. Season 11 came out 6 years ago. Oh my God. So yeah, I'm not gonna hold that against them. They're a different person now. You know what I mean? Like, they're a completely different person now. And so if people like it, I love it. And so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But what I am gonna say is I was gagged because I definitely thought that Susie was making top 4, but she didn't. She didn't. And I think that all that taught me was sometimes no matter how hard you work, sometimes your dreams just aren't going to come true. It doesn't matter how good you are. There's always going to be somebody that's better. Can you imagine if that's what I actually took from it? Can you imagine if I actually watched this season and was like, that's what I'm going to tell. Uh-oh, the lights are flickering. And it's not the hash slinging slasher. And it's not the hash slinging slasher. The weather's getting bad. So, child, we may have to go ahead and end this. I don't know. Because I'm not trying to be sitting here in the dark, child. But I'm telling y'all, when I tell you that it was gag worthy. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rest of the season. Hopefully the lights don't go out. Hopefully we'll get a chance to kiki and haha. So I wrote a couple of things down that I really, y'all, something feels like it's missing. Like this, I know I keep saying this, but this does not feel interesting. It feels like I'm just talking. There's something, I don't know what it is though. What do y'all think? I need some feedback. Give me something. What do y'all feel like is missing? What do you feel like is, maybe it's because I'm tired and maybe I'm not as enthusiastic. Maybe that's what it is. Because I do feel kind of tired and drained for a very specific reason, but maybe it's that. Y'all give me some feedback. That is Susie at the top. Yes, this is Miss Toot. This is Miss Toot. This is Anya. Are any of our top 4? No, these are all losers. Okay, the rest of these people are losers. Never mind. I said, Susie, why are you doing Sailor and we're in Vegas? It's the desert. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Like, literally, I could not understand what made her put that Sailor costume thing on. I could not figure out. I could not figure out what made that lady wear that outfit. Because you look stupid. And then when Rue was like, have you ever been there? And she's like, no. I feel like even if you've never been to Vegas, you should know enough about it to know that what you have is not appropriate. You should know. But then that also makes me wonder, like, how far in advance did they give them this specific prompt, right? It made me think, like, but everyone else has something that was appropriate, you know? Everyone else has something that was perfect for the photo shoot. Everyone else had something that I felt like was really good for the runway. And then you had Susie. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you part of what I think it is. If I'm being 100% honest. I think that Susie was overconfident in her zany aesthetic. I think that she got really, really confident in it. And she thought that everyone was going to agree with her. And just be like, oh, that's Susie. And we love that you made this your own. And we love that you had this spin on it. And we love that you had this old school. And we love that you X, Y, and Z. I think that was the problem. And I think that's what ultimately got her. Was she's giving Vegas Showgirl right there in the promo shoot, but failed in the challenge. Yeah, thank you. She literally, this is a Vegas Showgirl. I would say Vegas Showgirl in maybe like the 30s, but yes, you're absolutely right. Like, this outfit is giving much more Vegas Showgirl than anything that she had on in the challenge. And I can't figure out, like, what, I can't figure it out. I can't put my finger on what made her think that what she had on was right. And so here's like I said, I think that she got overly confident in that. And then I also think that, and I'm being 100% honest, if you go back and watch one of my videos, I think that Susie literally was in on it with production. I do. Oh, not the finger cracking. I think that Susie in production decided that she was going to be delusional. I do not think that this is something that she came up with on her own. I don't. I really don't. I think this is something that her in production agreed that she was going to do this, because there's nothing else like the way that Susie behaved this season when she was clearly in the bottom, makes me think there's no way that she could be that out of touch, because she's a very intelligent person. And I think that she has the reflective ability to say, this is not landing. Because if you're a person who really can perform, and you really are a person who can put on a show, you really are a person, I do agree, yes, Trinity absolutely was right. If you are a person who knows how to work with your audience to make something funny or to make it entertaining, there's no way you're going to be in that much of a disconnect that you don't know when something is good. There's no way. Because when she was like, oh, I was being really funny, Rue just wasn't getting my jokes. You weren't funny, babes. When it came to Snatch Game, she played a character from Little Shop of Horrors. And it was like, Okay. First off, it wasn't even clear if she was playing the person as the character or playing the character. That's where it started. There was already confusion in that. And then she wasn't funny with what she did. She thought what she was doing was funny, and you would think that she would of course correct it, right? Yeah. Susie said I was funny and I don't know how I didn't win the challenge. She literally said, and everyone was hyping her up like, no, Susie really is hilarious. She's going to win this challenge. I already know she's going to knock it out the park. I already know X, Y, and Z. And she flopped. I mean, it's not like she did the worst there, but she flopped. And the fact that she genuinely thought that it was the best, I'm telling you, I don't think it was real. I think she did this as a storyline. And now, here's my problem, is I feel like that's what this season has been, is I feel like some of them have storylines in mind. Corey King literally came there to brand herself, and nobody can convince me any differently. Corey King did not come to win this season. Corey King did not come to be in the top 4 and snatch that crown. Corey King literally came here so that she could win. I mean, win at the social media game. That is what she came here for. She did not, like, but what I can almost respect about that is the fact that that was her intention. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it also speaks to what this show has become, that all of them know what the camera can give and what they can do with connecting with the audience. And so I don't think it gives us an authentic season anymore. I don't think that they have the ability to... And by they, I don't mean necessarily the queens, but I mean the show. I feel like because they're so stuck in their ways now of like, oh, we're going to do this challenge that we've done before because this challenge went well, that challenge went well. I think that because we have a mixture of that, and then queens like Corey King who know they're there to make television and then be on social media and have that following and have people come, they know that. I feel like that's why this season as a whole kind of flopped for me, is because... like I said, everyone's there for branding. It's even like with Lydia, right? Was Lydia a good queen? She's a great drag queen. Is she a great drag race queen? That's another question. But she gave us some good performances. She gave us some good something. But I think as soon as they heard like Lydia Behold Collins, as soon as they heard that, that was it. That was her branding. That's who she was. And she was Rue's favorite because Rue always has to pick one that he laughs with, right? And one that's just so funny. And anything that they do. Utica was his other one. He just loved himself some Utica. She flopped. Let's just be honest about that, because she was trying to yuck it up all the time. And when Violet said, you don't have to... when Violet said that, she wasn't lying. Not everything needs to be funny. Not everything needs to be a joke. Not everything needs to have you looking like a circus clown. And I think that Susie learned that lesson this season. I truly do. I truly do. And it's even like Hormona. Girl, Hormona did not need to be there. That lady, and then people will swear up and down that she was doing great in the challenges and that she should have won the one they did, the what the hell was that one? The Drag Race Live, whatever. People swear up and down that she should have won that challenge. Why? Because she was whispering into a microphone? Baby, I can go do that for you right now. So what do you... I'm not understanding. She didn't do anything special. But I think that this season is giving us very much... That's why I thought, if you watch any of my older things, I thought Lana was going to make top 4 based solely on the way that she looked. I did. Because even once the season got started and I saw how boring Lana was, I was like, you know what? I feel like her aesthetic is still going to get her to the top 4. Now, I was off by a few scooches. I was off by just a few scooches. But just the fact that I was off by just a few... should let you know something. And I'm not talking about a few like, oh, she was actually top 10. No, she was like top 6. Yeah, she was top 6. That's 2 away. She was this close to making top 4. I feel like if some of the other people hadn't been as strong as they were, like if Sam hadn't come in as strong as she did, and maybe Lexi, I feel like if the 2 of them weren't as good as they are, I feel like Lana would be in the top 4. Yeah. That's how predictable this show has gotten. That's how much they do things and try to make it seem like they're so progressive and make it seem like, oh, you never know what can happen. And you hear the queens every single season saying the same things. And this season was so thick with it that it just started to bother me when they're like, oh yeah, I'm ready to fight for that crown. I'm ready to fight. Put your dukes up because I'm finna fight to the bitter end. Yeah, that crown is mine. Oh, I'm getting the crown. Oh, da 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 da. Oh, da da blah blah. And it's like we hear this every season. Girl, this is not a boxing match. Stop saying you fighting for the crown. You finna go take some... Galen, I'm invalidating someone's experience, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. My point here is that when you get to this point in the competition and you start hearing about how they're finna fight for the crown and they're finna do this and they're finna do that, it just feels inauthentic at a certain point because it feels like, girl, okay, okay, and it's just they're following the same patterns. They are following the same formulas, and it's just, it's exhausting. We're watching the same things. We're watching the delusion, and oh, I'm gonna be the first queen to X, Y, and Z, and oh, I'm gonna be blah, 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 blah. And then you get Susie being like, I'm only the second queen to represent Fort Lauderdale since Latrice Royale. It's become such a thing that they reference themselves in that way to represent them since this year. Baby, I will say I think Sam's storyline probably worked better for her in the end, because I definitely think Sam came in with sort of a version of what Trinity did with that, oh, I'm a pageant girl, and so I came in here like it's a pageant, and I really let myself go loose. Not go loose. I let myself get loose. I let myself, X, Y, and Z, because that was Trinity. That was Trinity. Trinity came in as a pageant queen, and everyone wanted to prove to everyone that she wasn't just a pageant queen, and she did it. And she showed us that she wasn't afraid to be goofy. She wasn't afraid to do some funny acting, to look crazy, to whatever. Like, she really proved that, and she proved she had a really good sense of humor. And Sam did the exact same thing. Sam literally came in and just this past episode was like, I really looked at it like a pageant, where everything was, prim and proper, and I had to, always be on. But I learned that I could just be myself, and I could just... But I think that Sam, although it was something that she concocted beforehand, I think it worked for her, because I think she actually let that shine and didn't try to hammer it home to us. Like, yeah, the judges would say it, and then she would kind of like struggle with it sometimes. But I genuinely think that she knew that was going to be her storyline, or she realized very quickly it was her storyline, and she made it work for her. And so when we get to top 4 and you see, but then you get to top 4, she's in her element. The high whore drag, right? The rhinestones and the feathers. That's right up her alley. That is right up her alley. What stopped her was that she was stiff. But she's been stiff the whole competition. I want Sam to win. I wouldn't mind Anya winning either, but the sabotage in this season really ruined her. I don't know. I do have something I do want to say about her and Rue saying... Because Lexi said that she feels like she... What did she say? Because I wrote it down. Lexi said she is guarded. Lexi said she's guarded, right? And then Rudence was like, no, you're not guarded. You wear your heart on your sleeve, which I agree with. But then when she got to Anya, she called Anya guarded. And I was like, huh? I was like, wait a minute, what? Because I genuinely felt like Anya, what we watched this season was her be guarded in the beginning, and then we really watched her open up. So it was very strange and out of place to me when Rue was like, you've been guarded this whole time. What? You just made that up. Because she was guarded at first, yes. That's what I mean when I say, like, you can't take the critique seriously. You really can't take too much about Drag Race seriously, because it will drive you up a wall. Now, let me say this about Anya and the sabotaging. I think Now, this is me trying to be as honest as possible. I don't want it to be like, because I like Anya, I'm saying this. I really mean, Anya, I think, was able to move past those times of sabotaging, because she herself was willing to open up and say, like, I'm sorry that this happened. She was willing to apologize. She was willing to take ownership of it. She was willing to say, like, I overreacted, or, you know, I reacted like this to you because you did this to me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why she was able to, because I think that as it stood, had they just did that, I don't think Anya would be in this top 4. I don't think she would have gotten near the top 4, because the person that she kind of seemed in those moments, I don't think is the real her. I don't think that that's, or it is the real her, but I think it's something she did in the moment. I don't know how to just fully say what I'm trying to say. What it boils down though is, I think Anya was able to prove that she's more than those downs. You know where I'm getting at with that? Like, I think that's why that being her storyline worked so well, because I think it showed a little bit, to a certain extent, like, this is the background I come from. This is what I've had to do to survive. This is what I've had to do to X, Y, and Z. And so now I'm able to move past that, because I see I have a sisterhood. I see I have people who care about me, people who I love, you know, to a certain extent anyway, in a certain way, and because we can relate to each other in a way that other people can't. So I think that's why that story worked for Anya, and why I think she was ultimately able to kind of overcome those issues. It's kind of like with Lexi. Lexi was the one who I absolutely loved at first, and then she started getting on my nerves. That's all I'm saying. Lexi was the one who I initially was like, Lexi could win this season. I could see this lady really going far. I love her. She is X, Y, and Z. And then it was just like, it wasn't even the self-sabotaging. It was the way that she was almost willing to be mean to people because she was having a meltdown. And that was where I started disconnecting with her. Now, I'm really bringing the two of them up together because I think they had similar storylines in reverse, where I think Lexi started off really, really open and then got more guarded as time went on. And then Anya started off guarded and then got more open as time went on. So that's why it was so weird to me for Rudence to tell Lexi, no, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and then tell Anya that she's guarded. It just felt very strange. It felt very strange to me. I think Lexi and Anya are definitely top 2, but something tells me they're going to have Lexi win. I am going to say that if Lexi wins this season, then it will be an injustice. I'm just being 100% honest, because I don't think that Lexi put on a winning performance. Like somebody said, I think it should either be Sam and Anya or Anya and Jules. My personal top 2 would be would be Anya and Jules. The only reason I think that Sam has the potential to get into the top 2 is because I do think that she has proven this season that she's able to work hard and create a show for herself. So like, even though I don't necessarily want her in the top 2, I could see it. Like I wouldn't be opposed to it, if that makes sense. You know how sometimes you get someone in the top and you're like, girl, let's be for real here. If Sam and Jules joined Anya in the top 2, I would not mind it. I wouldn't. But that's my personal thing. Like I said, my preference would be Anya and Jules. But their journeys this season have been so similar to each other that it's hard not to talk about the overlap in them. And I think that that's been one of the big reasons why they made top 4. It's just kind of like Jules. Jules is interesting because I feel like she's... Y'all know I'm Team Anya, okay? So please... Let me say what I'm gonna say in peace, okay? Y'all know I'm fully Team Anya. I would not be fighting mad if Jules won. If Lexi won, somebody's going to get a very strongly worded letter from me because that lady did not put on a winning performance. If Sam gets in top 2, I'll be okay with that. But if Jules or Anya won, I would not be upset at either outcome, is what I'm going to say. Then let me tell you why. In the same way that I feel like Lexi put on a really good season 4, top 4 performance. Jesus, top 4 performance. And I think that she deserves the top 2, but you know, winning maybe shouldn't be in the cards for us. Lexi can maybe be Miss Congeniality or something of the sort, although they'll probably give it to Lydia. But you know, hey, come on, fan favorite. You know, I feel like Jules put on a really good performance to the point where I could see her storyline being one of overcoming herself. And I kind of think that's what we saw this season, was her standing up for herself. We saw her sort of being willing to be everyone's friend, but then also be willing to stir the pot a little bit. We saw her, I think, really overcome her lows. She was in the bottom. It's not like she's one of those people that like, oh, I had a bad week and then, oh, I just, you know, they just put me on through just because. No, when she did bad, she was in the bottom. Right? But then she would come back and be like, okay, let me go on ahead and let me do X, Y, and Z. And I think that her story actually mirrors Anya as well, in that way of like, okay, I stumbled a little bit this week, but I'm going to show you what I got next week. And I think that that's what sets the two of them apart from our top 4. I think that's what really, for me, I would not be mad if either one of them won, if Anya or Jules won, just because I feel like they feel like some of the only queens in a while that really gave it all they had. You know what I mean? You know how some people make it to like, bye Justin. You know how some people make it to like the top 4, and you're kind of like, how did they even get here? Those two are the ones that I'm like, no, I see how they got there. Because baby, they put their Anya-sy and and their jealousy and everything that they did. Whether it flopped, whether it didn't, you know, they tried. And I think that was what made this season for them so special. And made me love them every step of the way. Every step of the way. Not like Galen. I don't want to say what I want to say, but I feel like I should say what I want to say. But I'm not. I'm going to just leave it at this. Not like Sapphira and Nymphia. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. I feel like Nymphia deserved everything that she got. And I also feel like there were certain points where Nymphia just seemed like she was the producer's afterthought in the episode. Like, it felt like what she did really well in, and then everything else, they were like, we're just going to put her over there. But then Sapphira was really, 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 you know, like, naturally good at everything. You know what I mean? And so that's why, honestly, this season will be the type of season where the final lip sync matters. I absolutely agree. I 100% agree. I think it was really the final lip sync that made Nymphia win. And I still don't even understand that. I think because I think you're right. I think the final lip sync was what clinched it. But I also think it wasn't because Nymphia did specifically or did like great. I think it's because Sapphira didn't do great. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's like it's like, I think if Sapphira had like stepped it up a notch, I think we would not be having the discussion that we're having. Sapphira was one of the best queens to come off the show. She absolutely was. I don't think she washed Sapphira, but she gave a little star power. I do think Nymphia has star power. I want to be very, that's why I get very on the fence about talking about that, because like I said, Nymphia does have star power. Nymphia is a very talented queen. I think that as far as her, and she had very particular strengths where I feel like Sapphira was just a strong competitor all around. And I think that in the end, they were just like, Lance said, I've never seen this. So does the final lip sync usually not matter? When they want it to. Like, when they want it to matter, the final lip sync will matter. When it doesn't, like when they go into it and they pretty much know who they want to win, then you'll know. It's like you'll know, trust me. You'll, like, if you watch it and you're like, wait a minute, that person was doing the best. You're not gonna get you 10 out wrong. It's just that they wanted us to divert our attention just a little bit. They put emphasis on things when they want to. The runways, sometimes they mean something, sometimes they're just like, oh, it was really pretty. Sometimes it's like, oh, your lip sync was trash, and other times it's like, I mean, girl, you didn't do the greatest, but you can stay. Yeah, and you know what? I am going to give my example from earlier. Silky and Nina, their lip sync, right? From season 11. If you watch that in real time, okay, you would have thought that Silky and Nina were both about to go home. If you watch that lip sync in real time, okay, you would have thought this is about to be a double sachet. They both got to go. What is that? Oh, it's a cat. What's that? A cat? Crazy big head, blonde head cat? Okay. It literally was that bad. It was like Silky was, I don't know another word for it, flopping around the stage like a fish out of water. Nina was giving... And I don't mean this because she's older. Nina was giving me nursing home performance. She was giving me one of the residents wants to put on a really good show for the other residents because it's Pride Month, and we want to give them something to do. And so they put her in this outfit. They went and got her a nice wig. They spent some money on that. But they gave her a nice wig, and then they gave her an outfit. And then, yeah, that's what Nina was given. It was very like, because it was a TLC song. I don't remember which one it was, but she's like, and you could tell she was trying to do a little something. I said, what is this, honey? I said, oh, okay, come on, S Club 7. Yes, you better. Okay, Kim Fields, you better do a little something. And then it was just a mess. And like literally, Silky was flopping around on the stage, physically flopping. Not just she wasn't good, she was physically flopping. Physically flopping on the stage from place to place. And it was just a mess. And you would think that you would hear that and you would say, oh, so they both went home. No. Rudence even said meh. Rudence said the word meh, letting us know that it was not good. And then he said, Nina, I'm sorry you gotta go. Silky, you get to stay. And I've never understood that decision except that he loved Silky. I did not care for her at the time. She has me blocked on Twitter. She has me blocked on Twitter to this day. So, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway, but people love her now for their reasons. For their particular personal reasons. And so, hey, it all worked out. I'm still a nobody. Sitting here talking to people on TikTok. Talking to 8 people on TikTok. Silky is out doing shows. You know what I mean? So it's like, who really won? Twasn't me. But anyway, no, let me stop. Scarlet Envy has me blocked, so we both just blocked. We both just blocked. We both just blocked. I mean, oh well, it is what it is, child. It is what it is. But I said all that to say, like, that lip sync you would have thought would have mattered, but no, Rue just wanted Nina gone. and wanted Silky to stay, and was like, okay, Silky, you can stay. And there was no reason for it. So truly, when it comes to a lip sync on Drag Race as a whole, you never know what you're gonna get. You could watch it and be like, oh, this queen did better. Alyssa Hunter in season 14, okay, had an amazing lip sync. And the one thing in her lip sync that went wrong was that her money gun malfunctioned. That was it. That was what happened. The money gun that she had malfunctioned, and she had to throw the money, right? That was what happened in her lip sync. And Carrie Colby stayed. Carrie Colby, God love her. I love Carrie Colby to pieces. No, ma'am. Even she was shocked. When Rudent said that Carrie Colby was staying and that Alyssa Hunter was going to leave, even Carrie was like, she was gooped and gagged. The Thanos, because I refuse to say that, because I don't think I can. I just can't. I can't. But the Thanos of this, and there's it's not actually Thanos, but I just feel like it would be not appropriate for me to say what she calls herself, but for some reason, and I don't know, it just feels funny, but I'm not even gonna get y'all the lore behind that because it's hilarious. But anyway, so you don't know from episode to episode what lip sync is gonna matter and what's not. So when we get to this finale, next week is gonna be the lip sync Lollapalooza, which I wish to God we were no longer doing. I wish to God that we would leave the Lollapaloozas alone, the lip sync extravaganzas. I wish we would leave them alone. I'm sick of them. Sick. But here we are. Another lip sync extravaganza. Yet another one. And I'm so sick of them. I'm so tired of them. But here we are. Yet we need a reunion. We need a reunion. I am so tired because the fact that they didn't give season 16 a reunion, and that was probably the best season that we've had in one of the best seasons that we've had in years, and they didn't give them a reunion. But you know what, I guess at this point they said, if we didn't give them one, why give it to this one? Because although we need a reunion, at the same time, some of these people are so boring. I don't care what Joella has to say. I don't care. I don't care what Corey has to say. I don't care what Acacia has to say. I don't care what Hormona has to say. I don't care. I don't care. I completely forgot about Crystal Envy. Completely forgot about Crystal Envy. Like, what do the reunions typically look like for a show like this? Okay, so the reunions have had a couple of different formats, right? So at first it was literally just a reunion. It was them getting together, talking about the season. There would be some arguments, there would be some drama, right? There would be some mess. So then we kind of transitioned into the era where the reunion, it became part of the grand finale. And so like we would kind of like talk to everyone, and then we would talk to some people individually, and it was a production, right? But it didn't give like reunion vibes. It gave finale vibes. Like, we're really doing it up big for the finale. So then we moved into a phase where the grand finale, which is like the final performances, things like that, and the reunion became separate again. And the reunion was like where, like the season 9 reunion, listen, let me tell you something. The season 9 reunion to this day for me is probably one of their best reunions ever. The season 9 reunion is top tier because you had so they filmed the season 9 reunion after everything was already done. So they had done the grand finale. They already knew who won. They already knew they didn't know who won necessarily, but they knew who the top 2 of the season were. They knew who hadn't won, if that makes sense. So there were people there that were drunk. There were people there that were, puff puff. They were elevated. Baby, everybody was there just living their best life. It was a mess. And it was probably I'm telling you, if you like drama, right? And you like confrontation, and you like shame because you didn't say JK. I mean, because if you would have meant JK, you would have said JK. I'm telling you, it was perfection. You had drama, you had shade, you had laughs, you had, I'm telling you, Aja, when they gave Valentina Miss Congeniality, and Aja said, I don't want to be the one, but I'm gonna be the one. You can't get any better than that. Like, I'm telling you, it was perfect. It was television gold, right? Last year, we didn't even get a reunion. Last year, they said, hey, if y'all didn't know that y'all were here together, we didn't even get on a stage outside of the main stage. They just made the they just made the main stage bigger. Usually they had started to rent out like the Orpheum Theater. Is it the Orpheum? Hell, I don't know. They rent out a theater, right? And they would do the finale there. But last year they said, girl, we ain't got time for that. We got time for that. So it's just like the reunion has always been the time for people to really cut up, but we don't get them anymore. So I don't think we're going to get one this season. I don't. And if they do, there's not going to be a point to it. Like, I'm just ready for it to be over. A reunion was needed on season 13. Yeah, oh my God. Season 13 definitely would have been the one. The season 2 reunion was iconic. I am not done speaking. You will speak when I am finished. Oh. I'm telling you, that season, that's it. And then, of course, I mean, I know season 1 wasn't necessarily iconic in that way, but I mean, Tammy Brown walking children in nature. Come on. I don't see you out there walking children in nature. Wait, was that reunion, or was that in All Stars 1? I always get that mixed up because I can't remember. I feel like she told that to Santino on the main stage in All Stars 1. And I think I just made that up that it was in the reunion. I don't know. It's season 1. She said that to Rue. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, that it was at the reunion. And she was like, I'll see you out the walk. And Rue was going off. That was before Rue had the, that was when Rue was still real. Before Rue got the media training. Because Rue used to eat the folks up. Baby, I just miss when they used to get real. Yes, Untucked used to be a vibe. I didn't even watch it this season. I let it go. I had no desire to. But yeah, no. So that's what she sent me. She did read. She said, oh, excuse me, y'all. She said if I wanted to read someone about their makeup, I'd talk about that neckline. She was like, you're trying to read me? And she's like, no, if I was trying to read, I'd talk about that neckline. I said, get her, girl. Get her again. Get her for me. Because that's back in the day when she used to be like, when Michelle used to be like really mean to the queens. And she would just say like now I think she says out of pocket stuff. I think she says out of pocket stuff because it's expected of her. But back in the day when that lady first got on here as a queen, as a judge, not as a queen, child, as a judge, she, I swear to you, would just be reading the people down. She would literally just go piece by piece and just be like, the wig is ugly, the makeup is trash, the necklace is ugly, the outfit can go. Like, it would just be like that. She would have queens ready to get out of drag and never get back in it. That's how bad she was. She would cut up. Some people live for it. Now, I'll be honest. I'm not a drama girly in that way. I don't necessarily care for being cutthroat for the sake of being cutthroat, but I can see how some people loved it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I fully get it. I think she went overboard sometimes, but as a whole, I didn't necessarily mind it. I think once she realized like that she was popular for being that, she decided she had to give that. And I think it's necessary to have those critiques. Sometimes I do think that she's I don't think she goes too far. I think that sometimes what she says is unnecessary versus being too far. Like, she could have kept it. There are some things she'll say sometimes I'm like, you could have kept that to yourself. But because she's become contradictory in it. And so it's like, she'll tell some people don't rely on their body, but then other people should be like, oh, I love that you have your body out. Or, you know, one of her big things is, you know what I'm going to say. She loves to say, you know what I'm going to say. And I think that she likes being the one where she has that thing that you expect from her. And I mean, take it or leave it at this point. I don't get bothered by it. I just roll my eyes and move on. If it's something that I don't necessarily agree with, I just feel like, whatever. I think she's right a majority of the time, but she gets it wrong sometimes. I think that she comes from a good place. I do. That's why I don't necessarily mind it, because I think she comes from a good place where she's truly trying to give them something to push past themselves. But sometimes I think she just says it for the sake of, they know I'm going to say something like this. So, but as a whole, it is what it is. But she used to cut up. That woman used to, I'm talking about, read these people to filth. And like I said, some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. Who is this fine man that just got up in here? Oh, I mean, okay. Hey, let me freshen myself up, child. Pat this fro down. But no, what am I trying to say? So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. Shut up, Leia. But that's where I'm at with it. That's where the judging. But yeah, like I said, this season as a whole, they did every challenge, just about every single challenge that they did was a rehash of a challenge that we get every season. It's a challenge that's popular, and so they would bring it back, and so they did it. They only had a couple of seasons that were actually unique to them, and so I think that took away from their ability to really carve a path for themselves, because we're constantly watching them do what someone else has already done 1,000 times over. And so we can say Raja did better in this challenge, Jujubee did better in that challenge, you know, Jinx really ate this up, because we've seen these same challenges 1,000 times. Girl, this is our 16th time doing Snatch Game in the main series. Snatch Game is a staple. So we've watched them do Snatch Game 1,000 times. We've watched them do Snatch Game in All Stars. We've watched them do Snatch Game in all the spinoffs. And so it's too much. But like I said, you know, I think it worked against them because of how far we are with the show. I want season 20 to be drag queens or a co-ed season, something new. Exactly, freshen it up. Give it new life. Like, bring life to me. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I'm so sorry. I think inventing new challenges could work in their favor. It could. But the thing is, like, what else can they do at this point? That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like they're at the point where they've said, what else can we do? Because what we gonna have for season 18 and 19 and 20? Are we gonna literally have the same challenges we had this season? Probably. We know for sure we're gonna have Snatch Game. We know for sure we don't know for sure, but there's a high likelihood we're gonna have the makeover. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, dear God, it's gonna be too much. Like, we're gonna be spending the next couple of seasons, and listen, I'm gonna tell you this: if y'all are still following me next year for season 18, if we still have the app, or y'all are still following me, you probably gonna hear me say a lot of the same things about season 18 that I did about season 17. It's just, God. Do y'all ever get nervous about stuff like that? Because I was thinking, like, I was sitting here like, I was gonna say, if you're, you know, next year, you're gonna hear me say, I was like, that's very presumptive of me to assume that these people are still gonna be following me next year. That's crazy. This is very, very presumptive of me. I worry about that a lot with this channel, because I don't know I'm trying to figure out some non-drag race stuff, because I realize I don't post over here. I realize I don't really do anything except for the drag race stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, let me stop telling y'all about my insecurities, y'all. and that I'm stagnant as a content creator, and that the only thing people want to hear me talk about is Charmed. That's I shouldn't be telling y'all that, but anyway, it worries me. Are we talking about? Are we gonna? Oh God, wait. Are we gonna do All Stars? Do y'all want to hear me talk about All Stars 10? Cause girl, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if All Stars is going. Because this next season promises to be a bit messy from what I've heard. Like, as far as the format of it and the different groups and whatever else. I don't know. Do y'all want to hear some classic Drag Race stuff? I'm really thinking about doing like a podcast where I want to do a podcast though. That's the thing. But I don't know if I need to do a podcast or do something here. I don't know if I want to do how I kind of want to do that, but I really want to do classic Drag Race. That's what I really, really want to do. But I don't know the format. I don't know how I should do it. I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Anyway. So how much y'all want to see that? Would y'all want to see that as like videos on here, or would you want to see it as a podcast? I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out though. I will figure it out. As someone who's never tapped in, I'd love to. Well, okay, well, all right. Crystal said yes, so I mean, and E said yes, and E is a new follower. Okay. Hate how the Lollapalooza is a staple now. Hate it. I hate the Lollapalooza. Hate it. Just approach it as yourself. Do what your intuition tells you. I like that. Thank you for that advice. Thank you. The salty CNA. Wait. Are you my friend? I know you, right? No. Yes. Girl, I can't see the picture. I'm old. My eyes. I feel like we followed each other forever, but then it's like, I feel like I am a loser. Can you imagine someone that you're friends with being like, is that you? Oh, God. The salty CNA. Especially because these girls lip sync saying, yes, these girls are not... Are we? I don't know. Baby, I don't know. I know we follow each other, so I'm just going to say girl, I don't... Listen, let's just start over, okay? Pretend I didn't say nothing. I'm excited to see Lydia win the Lollapalooza. At this point, I kind of don't win. I don't care who wins the Lollapalooza. Hey, cousin. I don't care who wins the Lollapalooza, if I'm being 100% honest. Because Morphine, it kind of made sense last year because Morphine was the lip sync assassin, right? So it was a big deal. It made sense. So when we got to her, it made a lot of sense that we were having this woman be, you know what I mean. But this season, to do it... What, is Joella gonna beat Acacia? Who cares? You know? Who cares? Like, girl, just okay. And then Lana's gonna get up there and flop, and it's just... I'm sorry, I didn't enjoy Lana's lip syncs. Lana's lip syncs all gave me, for me, the same. To me, they gave the same thing over and over, and what it was given was not what it needed to give. Corey, I don't remember Corey's lip syncs, so I'm not going to comment. And I'm not saying I don't remember because they weren't memorable. I'm just saying it was kind of like a long time ago, and I've put her out of my mind. Just a tap. I've put her out of my mind. Not in, like, intentionally, but just saying there's been other stuff that's happened since then. So, I don't know. I don't think that we have an assassin this season. I really don't. I don't think that we do. I don't. I do not think we have a lip sync assassin. Because I think that term has become so overused. And so, like, I think some seasons we have a lot of lip sync assassins because but you know, really, initially that was a term that was reserved for people who were making it through the competition. Like, it was reserved for people like Alyssa Edwards. It was like Coco Montrese, Roxy Andrews. Like, those were the lip sync assassins because they were really putting in the work to make their lip syncs good. Especially Alyssa and Coco. Alyssa lip synced every week. And like, I think about people like that. I think about Darian Lake, who was a lip sync assassin because she lip synced really good. Lala, exactly. Exactly. I feel like Lala was a really good lip sync assassin. Georges absolutely was. Jasmine, she was in the way that her numbers would be her numbers were very high energy, you know? So like, I could see saying lip sync assassin from what she put into it, but is at a certain point, it's like, I think that we kind of got it mixed up with, I think people wanted to be lip sync assassins. And so after like 2 lip syncs, they'd be like, am I the lip sync assassin of the season? We're on episode 4 and you've been in the bottom twice. No, you're not the lip sync assassin. You're just a loser. You are the winning loser. You're the winning loser. That's nothing to be proud of, okay? Girl, we've had 4 episodes and you've been in the bottom for half of them. But they want to be the lip sync assassin so they can say, I'm the lip sync assassin. Trinity K. Bonet, absolutely. Now that is a lip sync assassin. Yes, 100%. I was going to say Laganja. Laganja in All-Star 6 is a lip sync assassin. Like, the way she came in, like, that set the bar so high. And it's like, I think now they think that the number of lip syncs it equates to it. And I just, or they have one good lip sync and they're like, oh, I'm the lip sync assassin of the season. Let me tell you something. Valentina. Valentina I don't even remember which lip sync it was. It might have been that one. I don't remember which one it was. Valentina wanted Farragone. And that woman said, whatever I have to do. She said, if I got to crisscross applesauce, if I got to, whatever I need to do. She turned into that girl from the Proud Family. What was her name? Zoe? Was it Zoe? The one that was, she turned into her real quick. She channeled whoever she needed to channel to get pheromone out. She said, whoever I need to be, baby, I'm going to do it. She said, let's go. We ain't ever seen Valentina move like that. We ain't ever seen Valentina move like that. And that lady was, girl, anyway, don't get me started on that. All Stars 4 was absolutely fun. It was a mess, but it was fun. I'm not going to lie. All Stars 4 was low-key legendary. All Stars 4, oh, that might be fun to go back and watch the All Star seasons. Oh, because the All Star seasons tend to be a little shorter. So instead of going back, because as you get to in the regular seasons, you know, they can be like 17 episodes long. Maybe we should do like an All Stars recap. What do we think of that? Oh, that could be fun. And it wouldn't be as time consuming, because I'll be honest with y'all and say that time is kind of an issue for me because I got ADHD. And so like for me, sitting through long seasons is probably not the best idea. But oh, doing some All-Stars coverage, I like that. Yes. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Ooh. Okay. Now I just got to figure out a format. Do I want to do video? I feel like I'm not going to have as much time to talk about it as I want to if I do a video on here. So maybe I'll just do like a podcast. Okay. Y'all got to promise me something. Y'all got to promise me this, that we're not just talking about this in the moment. Y'all please tell me that you're going to listen to it if I release it. Please. I will cry if you don't. I will literally cry. And I will remember everyone's name here and I will cry. Like I will make y'all into the scapegoats for my sadness. See, Leia hates me. So she said cry. Do it. Okay. So we're taking April off. This is the perfect opportunity for me to go ahead and record because we're taking April off from our rewatches. If y'all don't know, I have a Patreon. So we're taking April off from our rewatches over on Patreon. This will be the perfect time for me to record them. Everything is working out. Oh my God. Everything is working out. This is the perfect time. Oh, this is the perfect time. Okay. Oh. Oh my God. I didn't even realize that this is the perfect time. Okay. Everything is in alignment. This is going to be great. Okay. I have to use this to my advantage. I have to use this time to my advantage. Oh my God. My heart just skipped a beat. I'm so excited right now. I didn't even realize it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And then once we get to like All Stars 2, maybe I can have some guests. Maybe y'all can be my guests. And I'm not just saying that to say it. There's only 7 of us in here, so it's not like it's not like I'm promising this to 2,000 people. But I'm just saying, like, maybe y'all can be some of my guests once we get to season 2. All Stars 2. Ooh. Ay. My God. Okay. My chest. Oh, y'all don't know. That just made me so excited. I have been looking for something new and fresh to do, and I feel like this is it. This is, ugh. But I hate editing, right? And so, like, for me, editing tends to be a problem because I hate editing, but I also don't mind it because sometimes it's a little mindless for me because, you know, I'm used to the clicking and the doing. Okay, y'all don't care about that. Y'all don't care about that. Focus. 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 I get so excited. I'm telling you, that's one of the things about having ADHD and all of that and the bipolar disorder is like I'll get so hyper focused on it. I want to record all of it tonight, and then next week, girl, who knows? Next week I might be like, what is Drag Race? I ain't never heard of that before. Anyway, okay, so Mick started the new wave of Drag Race queens, and I was like, so Aquaria and Shay didn't exist. In what way? She started. Mick does go by she in drag, or am I tripping? Or does Mick only go by he? I'm not. I don't want to be, but I don't know what Mick's in drag like pronouns are. But in what way? Because Mick said he goes by she in drag. Okay. That's interesting because if anything, I would say Violet. I would say like Violet or Aquaria if we want to just be new. I think they were referring to being a look queen, or maybe that's the... I don't know. Even with being a look queen, I feel like by season 13, look queens existed. I feel like that was... I don't know, Alabama. Yeah, I think... Yeah, no, absolutely. I could agree with that. Raja started it, Violet elevated it, and Aquaria ramped it back up. I could see that. I could see that. Because Aquaria definitely was like the new age, bursting into the drag scene, you know, kind of being young and fresh and whatever. Violet, I think, was that same thing in her season, but she had such perfectly executed looks where her and Aquaria had really good concepts. They both had really good executed concepts. But Raja definitely started the look queen thing. To a certain extent, I would even venture to say that the season 2 winner was maybe the prototype for a look queen. And then Raja was a look queen. And then Violet and Aquaria. As far as like, I don't know. Well, and Roxy. I mean, for sure. Roxy and even Lanesha. Truly. Shay started fashion for black girls. Yes. 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 Mick definitely seems like the product of being able to study who came before you. Whereas like Violet was doing her own thing, Raja did her own thing. Mick definitely seemed like she knew what worked and then took that and ran with it. I don't know. I could be mistaken. I mean, I could just be making it up. Please don't get me wrong. I could absolutely be making it up. But, I don't know. I don't know. What am I trying to say? Let's see. Let's look at Julius. Julius. I'm literally just an unserious girl screaming. But yeah. Okay. Well, y'all, we've been on here for a good little minute. We have been on here for a good little minute. We've been on here for an hour and a half. And for me to talk about this, I think that's great. I'm going to post this. I don't know where to post it though, but I want to post this somewhere. I might post it on Patreon. I may post it on YouTube. I do have a YouTube. I need to do better with, I have 2 YouTubes, but for this specific page, I do have a YouTube Real Life with G. But I need to, I think, do better with creating content for it because I kind of focus on my other page. So I need to do better. But hopefully this will be this new project with All Stars will be our venture into it. So starting drag race reactions. Ooh, see, I don't want to just be a drag race page. But it's okay if I am. I mean, but drag race I took a screenshot because I think that's a good idea actually. I could see doing something like that. Maybe like reacting to lip syncs or doing something talking about lip syncs. I could do that. I could do something like that, I think. I could do something like that. Anyway, thank y'all for the amazing ideas. If you have any more ideas, please feel free to inbox me. I definitely love to give credit where credit is due. I definitely love to, you know, say like this was inspired by this person, whatever the case may be. You know, unless it's something we came up together. Now, if it's, you know, then I'll be like, you know, well, we came up with it together. Whatever. But, yeah. But anyway, feel free to inbox me, even if it's just to say, hey. I am going to go ahead. And it was very nice meeting everyone here that I maybe didn't know before. Great to make some new friends. And I'm going to head on out. And I will see you hussies later. Bye, y'all. Have a good rest of the time.